And she hanged herself in this very room.
Beyond these doors lies the scariest building in Minnesota. You ready for this? That's the question. I know that you use this axe to kill your entire family. Come out tonight and talk to us.
Oh my god, there's axes in here. There's axes in here.
We're currently standing in the lobby of the Redwood Falls County Museum in Redwood Falls in southwest Minnesota. This originally was a pork farm. It was built in 1908 and it cost $16,000 back in the day, which was a large sum of money. Of course, pork farms were designed for people that fell out of luck, were unemployed, disabled, Civil War veterans. It was a kind of early social security to look after people that never had anything, were starving, were in a place where they perhaps had fallen upon hard times. This was a colonial style building in the Spanish Revival style. It's a fabulous facade that we're looking at the beginning of the front of this building, but it's the most active building I think I've investigated in southwest Minnesota. And I'm going to take you through these doors now and we're going to have a look at some of the hot spots and some of the activity that I've managed to get over the years here as the founder of the International Paranormal Society. So let's go inside. In about the 1930s, the building was then handed over as a nursing home. So the little cells that we're going to explore originally were the little cells people lived in for the poor farm, but then was converted into a nursing home. And it wasn't until 1978 that it then got handed to the museum, and they've used this museum ever since. So it's full of artifacts. There's histories of suicide. They've got some really interesting artifacts in here that are linked to some murders, grisly murders in Minnesota as well. Already you can tell this is a very creepy building. They've got all the dust covers on. It's shut down for the season, but actually ran some equipment. This originally was the dining room. So everyone that was in the pork farm would have eaten in a communal dining room. They would have grown their own vegetables. They would have used livestock that they would have bred here, and they were self-sufficient to a certain degree. This is a very interesting area. I did actually run a thermal imaging camera in this area maybe 5 or 6 years ago now, and suddenly a dark, cold spirit appeared, and it came across as very dark blue on the thermal imaging camera, and it was actually a Victorian woman with a bustle and a little hat to one side, and she literally sat over here on a chair. There used to be a chair that was in this spot here, and on the thermal imaging camera you could see the Victorian lady sit down on the chair, and we had some K2 meters and they also spiked. So when she arrived and we caught that spirit on camera, we also had some empirical evidence of energy manifesting itself as she arrived. It would be remiss of me not to mention, whilst we're in the museum, that underneath this covering is an axe that was responsible for the deaths, the grisly deaths, of several individuals not far from here, just south of here in a town called Morgan. There was a terrible axe murder that took place at the turn of the last century, where a farmer, without any reason, was in good health, wasn't deemed to be problematic in any shape or form, murdered his entire family allegedly with this very axe that we see in this cabinet. He killed his children. One of them was just a baby, a few weeks old. He murdered his wife, all with this particular axe. He was found hanged, so he hanged himself from the beams. But it's a very interesting case. Not many people know about it. One of the worst axe murders in terms of numbers, and then a suicide in the history of the Midwest. This axe was in possession of the local police department, and when they built a new police department building, they had an artifacts evidence room, and they wondered what to do with the axe. So it went through several people's hands until it arrived here at the museum. But it's very rare you get to find a murder weapon from a police department evidence room. Then again, part of the history of the area, of course, but it's a very interesting weapon. If you hold it, it feels very angry. It feels like you're holding a box of wasps. They're all buzzing in your hands. It has a lot of energy attached to it, but a very, very sad story, of course. When I entered into the medical room, there's actually a very creepy vibe in here. I don't know whether it's the semiotics of all of the medical equipment, all of the operations and the dental chairs and so on, or whether it is actually paranormally active, but we'll have a wander back here. There's something very creepy about seeing mannequins with dust covers over them, and then to realise that these are beds and this is meant to be a tableau of a medical scene. That's actually a nurse in a uniform underneath that particular mannequin. Already there's a change of temperature. You feel the hairs on the back of your neck go up. It's very thick, almost like walking through paranormal treacle or syrup. There's a real energy to this room. Imagine the people over the years that have sat in this dentist chair and had teeth removed or have felt pain, gripping hold of the armrest. There has to be a sense that it's like a sponge and it's soaking up that residual energy. But I've done investigations in this room. Again, lots of cold spots, lots of EMF that we can record as empirical evidence. And it just feels very thick and very nasty, to be honest. It's not a place you'd want to spend a lot of time, and you can feel it knotted in the pit of your stomach.
True.
It's not making it up, am I?
No, I don't like this room, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you. We're going to take a journey upstairs now. I think the second floor is one of the most haunted floors of this particular building. As a paranormal investigator, I think it's very important that the moment I step into a building, I run a DVR. The moment I get out of the car, as I'm holding my equipment cases, I'm recording everything that takes place. When I did a walkthrough on this building, like I'm doing with you now, I was running a DVR the first time I was in here, and I walked down this corridor. There's a taxidermy room at the end that's very miserable. It's full of decapitated animals, probably lots of arsenic around. My team said it feels very cold in here, and I heard on the DVR, just as we were walking around, as we are now, yes it is very cold. So there is a creepy room back here. I'll show it to you, just because we like creepy things. It's very odd. As a Brit from London, I'm not into hunting. I've never seen a gun. I've never held a gun. It's very strange coming from East London that you'd walk into a room with all these decapitated animals looking at me. It's a very strange thing, and it does feel heavy in here again. You'd be hard pushed to find a room in this museum that didn't feel heavy. Of course, as a historian of a number of years now, this reminds me of the scene in Planet of the Apes where Charlton Heston sees his fellow astronaut taxidermied in a display like this, but I've got a vivid imagination, of course. Even this corridor looks fantastic. You know, you've got the light coming through. It's a great location for a paranormal investigation. Creepy dolls in windows. Careful not to jump as you look through there. Now, this room is called the wedding room. It's a very scary and frightening room for a lot of men, of course, that are associated with getting married. But not just that. If you come through to this room, and today we have the sun shining through the windows, but imagine this at night time where you see lots of strange mannequin faces looking at you. This is the most active room in this entire building, and I don't say that lightly. We've had lots of EMF spikes in here. Again, it's a room that gives you a sense of uneasiness. As human beings, if anything's wrong, if anything doesn't feel right, we know about it. We have an inbuilt instinct to keep us alive. We know when we're being watched. We know when things don't feel right. why. It goes back to caveman times, because back in the day there was lots of animals with sharp teeth that wanted to eat us. So the only way we could stay alive was to keep on our toes, use all of our senses and know what's around us. And I know that works because I'm standing here now with Colin and I look out the window and I don't see any saber-toothed tigers around. So this must work. I always thought that this mannequin looked a bit like Princess Diana, so you can judge for yourself. Oh, she's lost her hair, poor dear. Excellent. The reason I'm unveiling these ladies, and I haven't done the best job of that, of course, but we'll come back and rescue that. When I first arrived in this building to investigate, I take baseline photographs. We photograph every single room because we want a record of what it looked like before we started investigating. They're baseline photographs. It's very scientific. I came in here with a tripod. I took lots of photographs of this room through this lady's left hand. When I got home and uploaded the photographs onto my laptop, she had a beam of blue light, almost like a lightsaber, going through her left hand. So I actually have a photograph of the energy that you can actually feel. The reason there's energy in this room is that I did a talk in Redwood Falls. I did a lecture on this building and I showed everyone my evidence. It was packed, standing room only, for the Historical Society to raise a little bit of money for them. One lady called Kathy at the end of that lecture came up to me and said, I know why the wedding room feels funky. I know why it feels a little bit strange, a little bit haunted. She told me that her great-great aunt was a woman called Louisa Bott and she hanged herself in this very room in 1922. She actually hung herself with a sheet from the bed from this very location. So Louisa Bott's a very interesting lady. She hung herself later in life here at the Poor Farm, but when she was 16, she was the lady that helped the Nairn family escape when they were attacked by the Sioux at the Lower Sioux Agency, if you recall the Sioux Agency there and the massacre that took place. So that woman has a lot to do with the history of Redwood Falls, and she hanged herself in this very room. She was German in origin. I actually spoke to her in German on the Ghost Box. I know a little bit of German, and we had a conversation in German. People say to me, do spirits talk in the language that they knew when they were alive? And that is true. I've spoken in German, Italian, French. You will speak the same accent and the same language you've got now when you've passed and when you're dead. But this is the wedding room. Several more places I want to highlight to you. Up here on the left, there's some very creepy rooms with dolls. Dolls, of course, are always very creepy, especially the Victorian ones. There's some really strange and bizarre toys in this particular room. Imagine it's Christmas Day. Imagine it's 1910, it's Edwardian. You want some toy blocks, some lead soldiers. Maybe if you're lucky, you might get a little tin train. And there under the Christmas tree, as you unwrap your presents in 1910, you get a little monkey to play with. And here he is, and he's looking like he's got human teeth, which is very odd, but there are some creepy animals. And again, with the light shining through in the afternoon, it doesn't look too bad. Imagine you've got a flashlight and it's pitch black, and you shine that flashlight and that little monkey's face is looking up at you. That's not what I'd want to see on Christmas Day. We have some rooms back here as well that we're going to explore. This last room here on the second floor is full of baby buggies. In Britain, we'd call them a pram, which I think comes from the word perambulator, which means to walk. The word ambulance comes from to walk as well, to amble, to walk, because during the First World War and before that, they would walk onto the battlefield with stretchers to collect the dead and the wounded. So the word ambulance comes from the French to walk. You think it would mean something a bit quicker, wouldn't you? This final baby buggy, this final pram, if we lift that back, there's a little doll sat there. I actually left a digital voice recorder on that doll and I investigated the building. We've been in here many, many times over the years, and I retrieved that DVR and I listened to it, and you heard a little girl's voice saying Emma. So I don't know whether the doll's called Emma or whether she was asking for Emma, but I did get a really good EVP from that particular doll just by leaving a digital voice recorder on her lap in this location. You may be wondering why this building's so haunted, and I could take us into any room on any floor of this building, including the attic and the basement, and they will feel charged, they will feel very paranormally active. One of the reasons, of course, is it was a poor farm. From 1908 to the 1930s, people that were down on their luck, people that were ill, elderly people, those that were struggling, struggling. Vets from the Civil War would have lived in each of these little cells on all of these floors. There was probably a floor for the women and a floor for the men, I would suspect. But of course, lots of people died under those circumstances of natural causes and of disease and being very elderly. We know of at least 1 or 2 suicides here that took place in these very rooms. The room opposite me, we have documentation of that, obituaries from the newspaper back in the day. Then of course in the 1930s it got handed over as a nursing home, so then you've got the rooms full of the elderly, and I'm sure many people died from the 1930s right up until 1978, when this then became a museum. So there's many reasons these rooms are active. And then you have to add to that paranormal soup the idea that every single artifact we're looking at has an attachment to it. It was somebody's belongings, somebody used that object. In the same way you go into an antique shop and it feels a little bit funky due to the same reasons. Of course there's a military room here where spoils were brought back from the Second World War. There's some memorabilia from Japan and Germany that soldiers from this area would have brought back with them. There's uniforms. The whole place from top to bottom is a multi-layered paranormal cake, and we're very blessed and lucky to be allowed to be in here to investigate and to film.
Okay guys, so it's only 6 o'clock. Seems a lot later right now, but Jeff and I are just arriving right now at the Redwood Falls County Museum. This place is, we just did a live stream here the other day, and this is definitely one of the scariest locations we've been to all year, if not the scariest. Sandhaven Sanitarium in North Dakota literally pales in comparison to the weird dark energy that's in this building. And it's just us two tonight in the whole place. It really does just look so creepy. It just looks like your typical haunted ass place. But I don't know, this place gives me bad vibes.
I don't know about typical. Man, it's just like foreboding.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of weird. It's got a lot of energy, man.
And a lot of people would never know about this place. It's like, this is like a hidden gem. Time to go in. Here we go, guys.
Yeah. Oof.
Very, very creepy building.
A little bit of, as I come here already, I feel stuff.
Creepiness.
Shit, what happened here? There we go.
Beyond these doors lies the scariest building in Minnesota.
Okay, you ready?
You ready for this? That's the question.
Let's go.
Okay guys, so Jeff and I just came in here. Lights are on in this one room. This is our control room, you can see right here. We've got fish bobbers. We're gonna use those in an experiment. By the way, if you guys would like to become patrons, Jeff and I just took 20-30 minutes before we started filming here. We took some photos, Polaroids for Patreon. Patreon members, you guys are gonna get these. And yeah. And
Also full cameras.
Yeah, and we fill up these disposable cameras during investigations, and we send them to you guys at home, and you guys get to go develop them and see if there's any evidence. I've had patrons actually send me photos before with real, like, paranormal, really creepy stuff, like smoke and lights, different colored orbs. And just now, which is what's insane, while we were like just doing the patron stuff right then, link is going to be in the description. I swear to you on my soul that actually, let's just come out here and I can explain it. Follow me. This place is so creepy. We were standing right here with the axe. I just have a bad vibe right here specifically.
This is a bad area right here.
Yeah, we were standing right here, and Jeff was taking photos of me. He was exactly where he was right there, like the exact spot, and I was standing about right here. And I looked and I saw, point that direction, all the way at the end of that hallway, I literally saw a green ball of light like go across the hallway. And I thought that it might have been like a reflection off of something, but there's literally nothing that it would even reflect off. That's like a wooden cupboard and then a covered window with a blanket, so there's no reflection. And we heard some noises. At one point we thought we heard footsteps. I was kind of pissed that we weren't filming. But yeah, if you guys want to become patrons, it helps the show a lot. First off, we're going to start right here. If you guys didn't watch the live stream the other night, there's a... Oh, Jesus
that's
Christ,
just
every time. It gets
Okay.
me. If you guys were watching the live stream before, this museum is filled with so many items, and as Adrian was just explaining during the interview that we had earlier, right behind me is the axe that was used to annihilate an entire family, and then the guy who supposedly killed his own family with this axe hanged himself. So I think naturally this is a good... What the hell? Someone that's just popped up. Did you see that?
What is it?
This just moved like that. I don't know if you're filming that. Your phone's just tripping out. For a beginning experiment right here, setting up the REM pod. I'm gonna put this over here. We're gonna remove the axe for the first time tonight. To investigate it, I should say.
Gosh.
This axe, like I said, is stained permanently with not only aggression and anger and deep sadness, but violence and death. It's forever intertwined with those themes. So you never have an opportunity to investigate an object like this, ever. It's unprecedented to be granted that access. With all that being said, it's time to bring out the axe.
For the live stream, this is where we had all that crazy activity.
Yeah. William Kleeman, I know that you use this axe to kill your entire family. If there are any spirits or energies attached to this object, by opening this box, I'm allowing you to come out tonight and talk to us. It really does make you feel a buzz, like on my arms. And for me, it's a cold. It comes through my body holding an object that ended the lives of 4 people.
It's William that held that axe. William, if you're attached to this axe yet, in any way, give us a sign. We've got devices set up around here. Use your energy. Try to make something happen, please.
William? You here with us? Is that you, William? Oh, the K2 is spiking too. Did you see the K2?
Oh my God, I'm feeling that same thing I did the other night.
William, I know you're here.
K2 meter. K2 meter. K2 meter. Oh, I'm feeling the whole body again. Hear that? Whole body again. Whole body again.
Why don't you come over to me, William? William! Oh my God, I have just full body chills.
Kind of reminds
All
me.
my hair's on end.
Okay.
Just look at my
Yeah,
goosebumps.
yeah.
Look at my goosebumps.
I didn't know. Got it going.
William! Get out here! Can you give us a sign if you're here, William?
He's trying, or whoever's here is trying.
This thing makes me feel physically ill to my stomach. And I can't stop staring over there. I feel like I need to walk over here with the axe.
Okay.
You don't like the axe leaving?
Keep walking. Light that up if you don't like him taking the axe.
You want the axe to stay here?
Are you here? You can't hurt us. Try the axe. Okay, he's gonna walk away again. Light it up, William. Dude, this thing's going crazy.
Come on.
Oh, I'm feeling a ton of energy here, bud.
Come on. Is there anybody else here with me in the museum?
Colin, I want to go back. Yeah, I want to.
Okay.
Things going nuts down
I
there.
feel like I should come into this room. We haven't been in this room to investigate or anything yet.
Oh.
This is a tool room. Look at this. Isn't that kind of weird?
Yes.
This is like where this would belong. Quit. Maybe that's where I wanted me to bring it. Right when I came in. And I have a fucking headache too.
William, should this be in this tool room? Is this where you wanted us to come? I'm gonna pan down here a second, Colin. Oh. William, if you're here, which I think you are. Oh, dude, I just saw it. Honestly, an orb. Did you come down here? Knock on the pictures here on the wall.
William, if you wanted me to come into this room with the axe, can you knock on something or move something in here? There's a lot of weapons in here, nails. If you wanted to hurt somebody, you could hurt me right now if you took one of these things off the wall and threw it at me. Oh my God, there's axes in here. There's axes in here. Look at that. What?
Where?
Right in front of me. That's crazy. I did not know that there were axes in here. This is the room that I felt like I needed to come in.
Broad axe.
There it goes. Oh, I'm getting chills over my whole
Wow.
body, man. Big energy in here.
You want us to come back or come down here? There we go. That's the first time the lights have gone off, and I saw the K2 meter. Are you afraid of us? Man, it's super cold.
Notice how it stops too. Here's the axe. Oh my God, it's so extra cold down here.
I know.
Look, you can probably see the goosebumps developing on my arm as we're down here. It's right by this axe. It's freezing. Look at that. They're literally developing right now. All my hair is on end too. Something's telling me to hold on to this. I'm like, I can't. Look how hard I'm gripping it. Literally my knuckles are like white. I just feel weirdly out of headspace. It's not like I'm gonna say that I'm possessed, but
Yeah.
that's very strange that it had me walk into that room.
Mm.
And standing right here makes me, I was just gonna say, physically ill.
On the very corner. Ooh, wow. You like this? You want to play with some things?
So we've set up fish. I thought you just heard a voice, did you? So we set fish bobbers up right there. We're gonna see if walking away maybe William or anybody else whose energy's attached to this axe or whoever is in here touch one of those red and yellow balls that I just laid on the... You gotta be stronger than that. If you want me to put the axe back, you gotta touch one of those little balls and knock it off onto the ground, onto the floor.
It's really
Come back
loud.
down to the
Okay,
axe.
let's take the axe.
The moment I start coming down here, I start developing that headache again.
Colin.
Dude, you know what I just thought of too? I was literally, before we even started filming, what I just said on camera, is that when we were taking that picture over here, I saw a little green ball
Yeah.
go across the hall from
Yeah.
this to this. It
Yeah.
was probably going into that room, literally. It was
Well,
probably
maybe
going
that's what
into
it
this
is.
room that it led me into.
Let's go down and see if it reacts.
Film that way. William, can you hit one of those balls? Knock them off your case?
Give us more of a sign than that. Did you just move? Yeah, I just heard it.
It was just a knock like this in here. Maybe it's another spirit that just wants the museum to be accurate. What if I set this axe on fire? Made sure no one could ever kill again with it. You wouldn't like it if I burned this axe? Let's walk ever so slowly towards the case. Are you down there? So you, William? It's very cold right here. I'm gonna put this axe back in the case though. I need to take a break from this thing.